Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time we're doing Altergeist. This is, I believe I did, it was my number 6. I'm not doing these deck profiles in any particular order. I just picked one that I felt was one of the more under the radar ones that people just aren't expecting to be able to do much, but I feel like it's still going to be very good. And I'm kind of doing something a little different with this version. You'll see what I mean when I get into it. But yeah, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. Got 9 more of my deck profiles from my top 10 budget decks, so if you haven't seen that yet, check that out. And we'll get right into this profile with your best monster card as far as Altergeist go. Multi-Faker, there's a reason he's at 1, but he's still very accessible and amazing. If he's in your hand and you activate a trap card, you just special summon him and special summon 1 Altergeist from your deck. Normally you're going to want that to be Soliquidus, just because he is a interaction on your opponent's turn and just going to really affect your opponent. So he is absolutely amazing. You always want to see him when you can. A really good way of getting him is through Meloseek. This card can attack directly when it inflicts battle damage. You can target 1 card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. But the main reason you're especially playing it at 3, he's level 1, and if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. Multi-Faker most of the time if you don't have them already. Or just search, a Marionette to normal summon the next turn. Just a lot of options here. But he's a level 1, so naturally you can send him to the graveyard easily just by linking him away into Linkuriboh. So very, very good card. And then our Altergeist Trap Searcher is going to be Marionette. When it's normal summoned, you can just set 1 Altergeist Trap directly from your deck. And then you can, when he's on the field, you can target 1 Altergeist card you control and 1 Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send the card in the field of the grave, and if you do, special summon the other monster. So you just kind of can switch out some cards. Pretty good attack, 1600. Good card. Playing 2 Soliquidus. You'd prefer not to see him, but if you do have him in your hand, you of course want to be able to still special summon 1 from the deck off a Multi-Faker. So that's definitely why you play 2. But he's got a quick effect where you can return 1 Altergeist card you control to the hand, then target 1 card your opponent controls and return that to the hand. So amazing disruption on your opponent's turn. Really, really good. And then if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Altergeist Trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So just overall, really, really good card. And then the last Altergeist we play is Conquery. He comes up. You definitely don't want to play him more than 1, but basically when an opponent's monster declares an attack and you control an Altergeist card, you can special summon this from your hand, and if you do, negate the attack. So protection for, like if they're trying to get rid of a Soliquidus or Multi-Faker, kind of whatever. And then if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and negate the effects of that card while this monster is face up on the field. So really, really good card. And then we also play some hand traps. I feel they're still necessary. I don't think it's a completely trap deck. Hand traps are really going to help you out. 2 Effect Veiler and 2 DD Crow. I just felt they're very universal. I mean, you could obviously throw an Ash Blossom if you want to. Kind of up to you, but these are really good in their own right. And then kind of the cool little engine that we're playing with this is spellbooks. So just 1 spellbook, a Magician of Prophecy, 1 Secrets, and I play 2 Knowledge. The reason for 2 Knowledge is because all of your Altergeists are Spellcaster as well. So you can send 1 of them to the graveyard to draw 2. So this card becomes therefore better than these 2, because you would rather, like normal summon a Meloseek and send it to the graveyard with Knowledge, get his effect off, plus draw 2. But if you don't open up what you need, but you have a Prophecy, it's really nice. So that's a little engine I put in here. I felt it blends in extremely well with the Altergeist, and it's really, really good. So that is it kind of for the monsters and the first of our spells. So we'll set these right here. And then the rest of our spells, we got 3 Pot of Duality. You're not always going to be special summoning, especially first turn. You know, you're hoping to, like, I don't know, you can normal summon Marionetter, you know, and if you have this in hand, activate Pot of Duality, hopefully get a trap or something, and then set a few traps. So Pot of Duality, I think, is very good. And then we also play 2 Secret Village of Spellcasters. I get it, you know, like Shadal's is going to be one of the more represented decks, and there's a lot of spellcasters, mostly spellcasters in that deck. You know, that's what your side deck's for, to swap out cards like this, but, you know, having this on the field against, you know, quite a few other decks, especially other rogue decks if you're playing against them, this card is going to be very good and just shut out your opponent from activating spell cards. So, really good. 1 for 1. It's a way of special summoning out your Meloseek, which is, like I said, super important because you want to see Multi-Faker. So 1 for 1 I felt was a no-brainer. And then Terraforming to search out your Secret Village. So that is it for the spells. Traps. The best one that goes along with Altergeist, that is basically an Altergeist trap. Personal Spoofing, definitely play this one at 3. Once per turn, you just shuffle 1 other Altergeist card from your hand or face up on your field, and then you add 1 Altergeist from your deck to your hand. So again, this is a way of easily getting your Multi-Faker to your hand, which is your main game plan, at least first turn. And then 2 Protocol. This has a couple of really good effects. The first one is the activation and effects of Altergeist cards activated on your field cannot be negated. That comes up with a really good card I have at the end. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send 1 other face-up Altergeist card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So that's good protection against other hand traps, you know, really just any monster effects. So really, really good card. And then just 1 manifestation. It's okay. You know, I don't want to see this one as much as I want to see Protocol. That's why I played at 1. You just target 1 Altergeist in your graveyard, special summon it in an attack position, and you equip it with this card. And then when this card leaves the field, you destroy that monster. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 Altergeist trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So it's just your way of kind of manipulating your graveyard, getting monsters and more traps back. So it is a good card. And then for the Solemn package, because I feel you just have to play it in Altergeist, it's too good, and you know you're going to be chaining Multi-Faker to one of these, so really nice. 2 Judgment, 2 Warning, 2 Strike. I definitely felt like Strike, or like a Warning, was a necessity. You know, I see a lot of people just playing 3 Judgment and 3 Strike. Strike is honestly not that good against like the Shadal matchup, whereas Warning is very good. So that's kind of my reasoning. But I just like options. I like to be able to play as much as I can while still being able to see, you know, some really good cards. So, and then the one-ofs, kind of the power one-ofs that we play. Crackdown. You know, you're going to be targeting a face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it. Really good. Metaverse. It's a way of obviously chaining or getting out Multi-Faker because you activate that card, and then simultaneously getting a pretty good field spell. So Metaverse. Imperial Order. It's going to be really good. You know, I do play a few more spells in this version. But they're more like draw power spells, so a lot of times you're going to choose to play Imperial Order and just shut out your opponent. And then the final card we play, which is super underrated in this deck, skill drain, because basically with protocol on the field, the activated effects of your Altergeist card cannot be negated. So under skill drain, you're still going to be able to use like your Siliquidus and still affect your opponent, whereas this is going to just shut off literally every deck out there. You know, if they're not getting any effects from their effect monsters that they're getting on the field, what are they really doing? So great card. Definitely consider it in this deck. So that's the main deck. I couldn't quite get it, mostly because of the skill drain. Couldn't quite get it to exactly 40, but I think it's 41, so for consistency. And then extra deck, have to play 3 Hextia. If you can get 2 of these on the board, it's pretty good. Basically, when a spell, trap, or effect is activated, you can tribute 1 Altergeist monster this card points to, negate it, and destroy it. And then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Altergeist from your deck to your hand. So again, another way of searching whatever Altergeist card you need. Just 1 Prime Banshee. Still a really good one. During the main phase, you can just tribute 1 Altergeist monster, and you special summon 1 Altergeist from your deck to a zone this card points to. And then if this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can just target 1 Altergeist card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So again, it is really good. Tulin Karibo. As I said, this is your way of easily getting your Meliseek off the field. So I felt that was important. Almirage. Same kind of thing. You can use it to get, like a Siliquidus, link into him, or again, a Meliseek, but definitely a lot cheaper now. So pick them up while you can. And then kind of just utility cards for our extra deck, because you do need those every now and then. Phoenix for spells and traps, Cerberus for monsters, Unicorn, shuffle back anything. And then Ningirsu, he's mostly in here for the Pendulum matchup, because your Endymion is going to be very hard for this deck to get through. So Ningirsu is just like non-targeting, basically just once per turn, you send 1 card from each player's field to the graveyard. So it could potentially, be really good for you, and then, for cards that are just problem cards, get rid of them. We also played just some other ones that you could just easily link up into. Topologic Bomber, for destroying monsters in the main monster zone. Trisbania, getting rid of spell and traps. Borreload is just an option, if you can make it. It is sometimes really hard for other decks to get by. And then the last card we play, just 1 Crowley. We play the Spellbook engine. So if you can make this, with a couple of your Altergeist monsters maybe, it just requires 2 spellcasters. Then you can potentially search the best draw power engine in the game, which is the Spellbooks. So I thought it was just a nice little addition. I had a free spot, so thought it was nice to put him in there. So that is my budget Altergeist deck. I will have 9 more. I'll be doing all 10 of the budget decks for my top 10 budgets for this format, this upcoming format. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.